We're back here at Love is Everywhere with Art and Linda. This is Lucette Presley, your host, and we were talking about spreading the love. Now let me hear how would you say to the younger generation how to love, or
we actually talk about that every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
The point is that folks need to see that two people who are in love,
mm-hmm.
how they behave, how they act, what they do, how they interact with each other.
Right.
So if they see two people fighting, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to show them that we do respect each other and that we are willing to give a little. It's a teamwork,
Yes.
You work together to make things happen.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Linda?
One of the problems with our new generation is that because of texting, we are not communicating very well. We're not communicating. A lot of people, you can go out to dinner with a family of 4 people at a restaurant and not one person has their eyes on anybody else. Nobody is talking. Nobody is communicating. And if you're always on a game and you're always busy and not being social,
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to communicate? How are you going to love? And the divorce rate is so high now.
Mm-hmm.
And all the bullying going on. People need to be taught how to love. I've often thought my husband could teach a class on how to be a good husband. Because he's a wonderful husband.
That's awesome.
Because he opens my door. He treats me like a queen. In fact, I told somebody recently, and she said, "Yeah, I can see your crown."
Really?
I am Queen Linda in our house.
That's
My door's
beautiful.
always open. He pampers me, and I believe that's what we need to do. We need to show more respect, and we need to show more love, and we need to talk and love each other and show affection.
That's right.
Because one of our problems with is lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think that's something that needs to be taught
Yes.
from all of us in all the different generations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true that people are not taught how to love.
That's right. That's what this show is all about. Showing how to love others. Because in this generation, you're right. I go to a restaurant and I see everybody on their phones, texting or whatever they're doing. What happened to the communication? What happened to talking to each other? Because I know that when you talk, you show care and loving, right?
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier for her to do it than it is for me.
Oh, why is that?
I could be around all day long and not talk at all. It would be like, that's okay.
Yeah.
But then, like she said, she thinks something's wrong. If I stop talking, then she starts worrying.
Yes.
And that doesn't work, so I have to keep talking.
Mm-hmm. So keep talking, keep communicating, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and touch.
Yes, touch is a very they say actions speak louder than words. Sometimes if you just touch someone on the shoulder or on their hand, that means you care about them. And sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Just hold somebody's hand and smile at their face.
Right, and
Yes.
listen.
And listen. Yes, listening is an art, and that's why we go to Toastmasters, because we learn all these things. Okay, back to the communication. Yes.
Yeah.
Love, there should be no problem showing how we love. But would you say that we learn how to love ever since we were babies, or how we are raised, or does that have an effect on us?
There's actually been studies shown by kids who are in orphanages, people who are just put in a crib and nobody touches those babies. They have trouble in relationships. They have trouble bonding with, even if they are adopted at a later time. If you are not shown love as a baby,
I see.
you have trouble bonding.
Wow.
Love, when you touched my hand just now, that felt great.
Yes. Because you feel the warmth of somebody else's hand. I read that too. You see, touch is very important. Yes, and even for pets, when you have a pet, you want. That's why they call it pets, because you want to pet them. Yes, and that's how you are showing your love. And sometimes actually, pets, dogs and cats, or any other kind of pet, show unconditional love.
Yeah.
So and a lot of people love their pets more than their families sometimes.
Yes, they do.
Yes. Why is that? Lack of communication, you would say?
Because
Growing up, there was some
pets.
challenges there?
Tell them your story about the dog. Come on, hon.
Yes, please.
The cat and the dog story.
Oh, no.
Yes. Tell them.
Okay, so what's the difference between a cat and a dog? The cat walks into your house, you feed it, you give it water, right? So the cat looks at you and says, you give me water, you give me food, you give me a place to live, I must be a god. The dog walks around your house, says, you give me food, you give me water, you must be a god. So it's all about perception.
I like that. I love that very much. I never heard that before.
And I have lots of friends that have dogs. And dogs do, I have 5 grand dogs. We have 5 grand dogs,
really?
right? Yes, my kids, my daughters, one has 2, one has 3 dogs. And they love their pets.
Yeah.
They are
They're their babies.
They're babies, they're children. We have 3 grandchildren. Extended family is really important. When you're alone, you need another person. You need a person, a body in that house.
That's right.
That makes you feel loved.
Somebody.
Cat, a dog, whatever.
That's why actually I heard because I work with a lot of seniors, they recommend that seniors should have pets. Because at least there's a cat or a dog that you can talk to or cuddle up with when you're feeling alone or lonely. Yeah, because pets, they give love unconditionally.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I have a cat too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I used to have a dog, and he went to the Rainbow Ridge not too long ago. And I have my cat, and she's very loving, and I don't need anything else right now, or anybody else for right now. All I need is my kitty.
Key word was bought now.
Yeah, that's right. But you guys, you are just such an inspiration about this love that you have. And yes, you have to show it so that people can see what love is, because nowadays really there's a lot of people who doesn't even know how to love. That's why this show. So maybe
it's important that people are around loving people so that they can understand how it works.
Yes, because I really think so also that when you are a baby or were growing up and you were not given lots of love, that can have a not good effect on you. But people, we must be around loving people. But if you cannot have love from other people, it must come from you first, because you cannot change the other person's thinking.
Nope.
It's for me personally, I can change what I think, so that's why I talk to strangers and I smile at everyone and I say hello and hold their hand if they'll let me. Because you are not going to expect someone to smile at you if you don't even smile at them first.
Right.
Yes, so there. So be the change that you want in this world. That's what Mother Teresa said. So if you want to change the environment, you want to be more loving, make it start from yourself. In fact, there's another one said, if you want change, go home and love your family.
Oh,
Wow.
Yes. I'm sure you've heard about that.
I've never
And you
heard
can't change somebody else. That's a
That's
good point.
right.
I mean, that's a problem in some marriages. You expect somebody to change, do something different.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, because you cannot change somebody else. You cannot change somebody else thinking about yourself. Linda,
Actually, I went to a self-help group once, and it's called your script. Every person in a relationship has a script. We say the same thing over and over. We relate to each other. So, say one day you wake up and say, boy, I love my husband. I'm going to change the way I'm going to interact with that man. I want to keep him as my husband.
I like that.
And you change the script. You rewrite it. and you can change the way things could work out in your
Absolutely,
relationship.
yes.
If you guys are both willing, if not too, everybody needs to be willing to work on the relationship.
Very nice. Thank you, Linda. And we are going to go to... Thank you very much for having me here. And I am looking forward to more stories from you guys. How to be a role model about love and how to spread the love out there. Because love is what the world needs these days. Thank you, everyone,
Fourth segment.
for having us.
Fourth segment.
Yes.
We got one more segment then?
Okay. And let's see you on the next segment. We have more things to share with you about loving. I am so excited. Thank you. I'll see you in a little bit. Stay tuned.